Welcome back to the Reality Guys. I'm your host Brian, and today I'm talking Southern Hospitality. This is season 3, episode 7. So we pick right back up where we're wondering is Grace going to show up for the Maddie show, and we were kind of right. She shows up like pretty much right before it starts. She shows up at 2:37 p.m. I think it was like a 2:45 start time. I think, but she makes it. Acts like there's no issues. Says that she didn't know about sound check. Joe Bradley, even though he's like standing up for Maddie, just looks like an ultimate loser in my opinion. Just I don't know. It's just the way he talks. Honestly, I think if his delivery or anything was better, he just I don't know. All of his like situations where he's just like, where are you? Where were you for sound check? Like we've been looking for you. It doesn't sound like things are going on upstairs. So I'm always going to default to him being just looking like a loser to me. But I will say Maddie did something smart here. She turned off Grace's mic for the performance, and I think that was a good idea. I don't know how Grace didn't know. Maybe like the I think she'd be able to hear yourself singing out of tune, but I think that was a smart move. Like let her lip sing, at least so it doesn't ruin your like look of the show. So I thought that was a good idea. And not tell her. I mean, obviously she didn't know now, but we'll see at the reunion if it comes up. Like, is this gonna be something that bothers her? Brad and Lake hook up. Uh some of the girls think that like Lake says like, hey, I can play it, two can play at this game. And I think it was Molly was like she is probably going to like bring him in and then friend zone him, which is, hey, I don't know why Brad's dragging his feet, but I don't know. I mean, this is what these people do, and the decision making is always lacking. All right, so they have the performance. Goes well. They end up going out to dinner later, and everyone is around the table. Will like tries to apologize for what happened, and he kind of like says like, "Hey, I'll like." He addresses some of the stuff, and then like Lake is like, "Well, what about the cheating allegations?" And Emmy's face during all of this is just how it's been the entire season, just like absolutely 100 out of 10, like optics, like crazy. Like her eyes are like bugging. And I mean, you can see my pupils right now, like, and where my eyes are. But like, I was reading some comments, like, the pupils on her eyes and Will's eyes are like the entire, like their entire eye. It's crazy. And she just starts freaking out. And you got to, I mean, if everybody who's watching this has seen it, and it's even hard to describe how like it's like the absolute cringest thing you'll ever see. It's embarrassing. It is embarrassing, and I cannot wait for the reunion to see these things. Like, what is the reaction, and like, what is she saying now? And if they are still together, I mean, they are clearly are together. I just think it's just like is it's funny. It's funny. The other thing, so TJ gets a hot dog tattoo. He's fully sold on Sir Wieners. Bill and I are gonna look into maybe getting some of the product there. The sweatpants, I think sweatpants are the best deal, I think, currently. And if they add some hats are where we're gonna get me. Um, so later I think he says to Emmy, I think this is where it starts, but he says like, well, he was bullied by Austin's girlfriend's brother at law school. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I think Mia makes a really good point here. I'm pretty sure it was Mia. No one believes it, first off. And because I think like Emmy is telling the girls at the same time as Will goes out with the guys for brunch and kind of explains the same thing, like getting bullied. And he's like, well, what do those type of kids at that age? They're like, oh, well, it have to do with bullying. And she's like, well, it's really competitive there. And like, and I was the only bullying that I remember like on that college level, and it's from Van Wilder. I'm pretty sure it was Van Wilder. Yeah, it's Van Wilder. That like the movie with Ryan Reynolds from like 20 plus years ago. It's like that's like what kind of bullying is happening in college? I don't know. I'm sure it happens, but I don't believe it in any form. Like calling him like a Bravo boy, and I mean that's a funny ass insult. Like calling people Bravo boys. That's really funny. So they play this game. I don't know why, and it was like, who do you trust the least at the table? And Grace was up. It's like, would you trust her? And apparently she had sex with Ocean from last. I think that's how you say his name. I don't remember the Ocean. I think is his name from last season. But he was like with Ava, who is Maddie's roommate. That's why she's not really allowed at their house currently. And This drama needed to happen when he was still on the show. Like the fact that he's not even on the show anymore, it doesn't even mean anything to me. And the last thing is the fake wedding that Joe Bradley tries to push on them and like get them all dressed up and like he's like, "Well, you guys will be my best man or my groomsmen." And it is just, I don't know, it just was not landing for me at all. I just so that dude is so corny with a capital C. It's crazy, and that's kind of where the episode ends. Is like them doing like the commitment ceremony. Obviously, it's not an engagement, but like I don't know. I don't know. I just we watch so much TV nowadays. It's like what is actually real that we're watching, and I don't believe any of these stories. I just don't. They're just so goofy and like just the amount of like just not just they just don't like they're not living in their own world where like reality it would just be like what are you doing like you just crazy me but that's why we watch these shows we enjoy it I love the show I think Southern Hospitality is probably one of my favorite watches of the week um Bill and I always joke like hey I wish this was on at 8 instead of 9 so we can actually watch that and because we have Traders US on the same day like love to watch this instead of Southern Charm because Southern Charm currently is a dud but we'll be back later tonight for I will have the finale for Love Island All Stars season two. Thank God that show's over. We also have 90 Day Fiance season 11. The original show is came out last night, and we're gonna have something out for that. Whether it's just me or Bill, we will see. But I will definitely have something for that because I'm currently working on that whole entire franchise as a whole, and I'm almost done being caught up from like all the seasons. Like it feels like it's like 70 plus. It's been a grind. It's taken me months, and it's I can't wait to get to being caught up with the season and just knowing all these people. And it's definitely a rabbit hole to fall into, and you can get lost in there for months of the year. But thank you everyone for watching. I'll be back, like I said, in the videos later today, and hope you guys have an awesome rest of your night or afternoon whenever you watch this. And I'll talk to you next video. Peace.